Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video. We're going to be looking at how to 3D print something that's going to be quite useful for you. What we'll be doing today is taking the old Quadcopter that we built. If you haven't checked out that video, go have a look-see. Been flying this thing around. I think I'm going to upgrade some stuff on it though. I think I'm going to upgrade the flight controller and things like that. Just get a little more stability and make this thing work a little bit better. I may even put FPV on it, which is the first-person view, which is kind of cool. You get the little goggles, you can see what it sees. Anyway, besides that, what I've noticed is I've got one of these little batteries, and I described what battery this is. It's that one. And I've been just kind of like zip tying it to the top like that. The only problem is when it crashes into something, the battery goes flying. It goes flying right out. You can't really zip tie it down. It needs something to kind of hold it in place. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be 3D modeling and printing a device, or at least a little box, if you will, that's going to sit on top of this that we can then screw to the top of this using these little holes that are in it. We'll screw it down to it, and then we'll use a Velcro strap to strap the battery in, but it'll have some sidewalls on it, so when we crash, it won't go flying out. So if you're anything like me and you're very new to quadcopters and stuff, you will crash it a lot. I recommend buying lots of blades and doing something like this. So we're going to jump to the computer and we will go through how to 3D model up something pretty quick and then print it off. All right? Be back in a sec. Okay guys, so I got the Inventor all fired up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new part. So I'm going to click on this. It'll take it a minute to load. I'll probably pause the video while it loads because it takes it a little bit. Okay, so here we go. So I've got it all set up. So we're going to need a new part. So first thing we need to do is create a 2D sketch. So I'm going to click on that. We'll choose the XZ plane. That works fine for me. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a rectangle. So let's make it the outside dimensions of our box. So it is going to be 3 inches that way. Oh, I've got Java updates. Well, hallelujah. And it's going to be by 1.855. Okay. So that is our box. So I'm going to finish that sketch. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude this up 1 inch. Now, I'm going to move it up a little bit more than that because when we shell this out, when we hollow this out, I don't want it to punch all the way through the block. So we want it to have inch-high walls, but we need to give a little bit on the bottom for when we punch through it. If we, oh, daggum AVG. If we punch through the bottom, well, then it's going to, if we do it 1 inch, it's going to just hollow out this entire, it'll make an entire hollowed box. That's not what we want. We want it to have a little bit of a bottom. So we're going to give it a little more. Oh, let's give it 1/8 of an inch. So we'll bring it up 1 inch and 1/8 essentially is what we're going to bring it up. So there we go. Now we need to hollow it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click on this surface, choose a new sketch, and we will create our new sketch. Since the hollow outing, we could use the shell command. Let's see, that was, where was that at? Shell. We could use the shell, but the problem with shell is it's a uniform scale all the way around. So you tell it what thickness and it'll do the same thickness everywhere. Well, ours is going to be a little bit different because we have specific dimensions that we need this hole in the middle to be. So what we're going to do to make sure that we get it right is we are going to project geometry. We're going to project this one side to start with, okay? And then we are going to offset that side. So we're going to bring that out a little bit. And then we're also going to do the same thing with the other edge. We're going to project that geometry and we're going to offset that one a little bit. Now, I don't want this other edge, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the escape key and I'm just going to delete it. Now I'm going to dimension these. I need a dimension from here to here. That's fine for now. I also need a dimension from here to there. And that's fine for now. Now, to figure out what these dimensions need to be, basically where this box in the middle is going to be, we're going to need a calculator. So I'm bring up our calculator. All right, so now we know that our total box, let's figure this dimension first. So we know our total box width is going to be the 1.855. Now we have to subtract the width of the inner box, which is our 1.4. Now that gives us the total of what's left over. Now, since we have two sides, we've got the top and we've also got the bottom, we have to divide this number by 2. So we're going to divide by 2 here. And that should be our dimension for right there, 2275. So we're going to go ahead and do that. 0.2275. Enter. So that's our dimension that way. And then we're going to pull our calculator back up. And we need to clear this out. And we need to do the other dimension the other way. So now it's the length. The length is 3 inches minus our 2.7 inches. So that gives us a 0.3. We're going to divide that by 2, and we get 0.15. So this one is going to be a 0.15 dimension. And you know what? I think I just quite literally did that backwards. So I just quite literally did that backwards. I'm sitting here looking at two different drawings. This one needs to be the 0.15, and this one needs to be the 0.2275. There we go. Sorry, I did that backwards. So, but basically, you see what I was doing. So this one is the width. I'm sorry. This one is the width one. So that's where we take our two widths, our 1.855 and our 1.4, subtract the 2 and divide by 2 to get the width, and then the length is what this one is. And so you do the same thing. So hopefully that made sense. So now we've got our corner point. This intersection of these two is the corner point of the box. So now we can draw a rectangle and snap to that intersection, and we can actually, here, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to grab the intersection, and then we can dimension our inner box. So it's going to be a length of 2.7 by a 1.4. And there is our inner box that we were wanting to do. So I'm going to finish that sketch. Okay, so there it is. So now we got to hollow this out. So the best way to hollow this out is we're going to choose extrude again, click on our box, except this time instead of extruding up, we're going to perform a cut, and instead of 1.25 to cut all the way through, we're going to, because hopefully I can roll this, see, it'll punch it all the way through if I just leave it 1.25. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 1 inch, and see, now it doesn't cut all the way through the box. It just punches, like you can see it. It doesn't punch all the way through the box. It's just in and 1/8 of an inch from the bottom. That's what I was talking about. So we're going to hit OK. And voila, there we go. So now to continue on, let's go ahead and purdy this up a little bit. Let's do a fillet. 1/8 of an inch is fine. Let's do fillets around the edges. Let's see, I should be able to click multiple edges here. At least theoretically. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we'll make this look nice. We'll get all the edges here. Okay. There we go. That makes it look nice and rounded, so that's cool. So we'll do that on that. So now, let's see what else. Okay, so we have this all nice and neat now. So what we're going to do is let's make some little finger grooves in the sides. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this side, we'll click front, new sketch it, and let's make some sort of like a finger groove of some sort. So first off, I need to mark for where the middle is. Let's find where the middle is. There it is. Oops. I didn't want it to go angled on me. Now this is totally live, so you guys can definitely see me do my thing. So I think I want this to have an arc. Or actually, I think what we'll do, yeah, we'll try to draw an arc here. See what we can do. Let's see, I can't remember how the arc tool works. Yeah, I think that's how we'll do it. Okay, so I'm going to dimension this. I want this to be, oh, that's a little extreme. Oh, my stupid AVG, I'm telling you. AVG makes me nuts at times. Excuse me for that. So let's do 1/4 of an inch and see what it looks like. Yeah, probably a ½ inch is probably better. Yeah, ½ inch down. That's probably good. Okay, so let's do an arc. And we're going to go from here to, I don't know, somewhere around in there. I think our radius, we should probably do 0.4. Probably. And I want a dimension from there to there. Or maybe we should make it, I think we should make it a ½ inch all the way around. Probably would be better. Let's undo that. 0.5 look like? Does that look just absolutely awful? Yeah, I think 0.4 is probably going to be better. Maybe even 0.3. No. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm just going to simply use the circle tool and make a circle here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to then trim off the top of it. So we're going to trim that off. So there we go. So there's our kind of half moon kind of finger hole. So we're going to finish our sketch. We're going to extrude. Oh, we need both pieces here. Except we're going to do another cutting extrude. So now this one we can go big and go like 2 inches. And that way it goes through both sides. See? And then we're going to hit OK. And that's going to give us our little finger holes where we can grab the battery and pull the battery back out. Now, another feature that we need to do is we need to have slots in it so that we can mount it to the copter. So what we need to do is we need to cut slots in the bottom. So we're going to create another sketch, okay, in the bottom. And this is where our other dimensions come in handy. Okay, so we're going to do basically the same thing again. We're going to do our project geometry. Grab this corner. Then we're going to offset from that a little ways. And then we're going to, let's see, we're going to have to project the other geometry from the other side because we need the top of it. And we're going to do the same thing, offset, pull that in. Except we're going to delete that one side because we don't need it. Now we'll go ahead and dimension everything. Dimensioning. Let me tell you, you dimension so much in this software. So there we go. Now, again, to figure out our dimensions, we're going to have to go back to our calculator. Okay, so it's going to be about... And of course, actually, wait, we don't need the calculator because we know the dimension. Never mind. So it's going to be about 1 inch down. So we want 1 inch down. And then we want the slot to be, hold on, I had to grab my deal. We want that slot. Okay, so now, and we will basically, okay, we need to extend this. I'll just notice that and put that over there. And then we'll come down 1 inch and we'll go the dimension that it is. So let's make another rectangle. You make a small rectangle. So it is going to be, excuse me, I hit the mic. It's going to be 1 inch long by approximately 0.125 wide. So we're going to hit enter. So there's that. Okay. And then we're also going to take and let's see if I can do this. I can't remember if I can. Yes, I can fill it. So what we'll do is we'll fillet this. Oops, I didn't set the. Okay, so we're going to fillet this probably 625, probably like that, maybe. Yeah, maybe a little more than that. Looks like it didn't take. Let's go this one with that one. And this one with that one. Okay. And then down here, this one with that one. This one with that one. There we go. Now there's a nice slotted hole. Okay. That we can do. All right. So there's that one. Now we need the distance between the holes because we need to do basically the same thing. In fact, I think we'll just mirror it. So what we do is, let me go to the top here. And I'm going to give it a slight bit of curve. I'm going to make a line right in the center. Hopefully I can get it to center up for me. There we go. So that's our center line. So now we're going to attempt to mirror this. Select. So we're going to select this. We're going to select our mirror line as that. And we should apply it. And there we go. So there we go. So now we've got a mirrored image. We've got the two slots so we can mount this to our copter. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to finish the sketch. And we'll go ahead and cut this out. So we're going to do an extrude, this one and that one. Except we're going to go the other way. And you can leave it at 2 inches. It's fine. We're just cutting holes. So, okay. And there's our slots. So there we go. So there's our slots for cutting it in. So now we need the same thing for our battery so that we can hook our battery in. Now, the battery is close to the edge. I'm going to pick this side. Why not? Let's pick on this side. So now it's kind of over here to the left. So what we'll do is we'll just cut a notch in this. Okay, so I'm going to create a new sketch. We're going to do the same thing again. We're going to create a notch in this guy. So I'm going to do an offset. Look, I got to project the geometry first. Project the geometry. Then we're going to offset from there. We'll create this notch, I don't know, somewhere around in there, maybe. Does that look good? This is all guesswork right now, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and throw a dimension on it just so if I need to alter it later, I can. Throwing dimensions are nice because then once you've extruded, if you need to go back, you can always come over here and open up the extrusion and change around the sketch and actually change this around a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do for that. And then we're going to, let's see, we're going to take this and I'm going to project some geometry because I don't want this to be exactly from the bottom. So I'm going to offset this up a little bit, do our same thing, delete this, and then throw a dimension on this here. From there to the bottom. There we go. And I'm actually going to probably move this up quite a ways. I'm going to move it up to about, wait, I got to get out of my dimensioning tool first. Okay, we're going to move this up a ways if I can. Well, we're going to have to do it with the dimension since I put it on there. All right, so let's go up a 1/2 inch. Yeah, let's do that. And basically we can cut a slot in this now. So I'm going to take my rectangle tool, draw me a slot just about like this. Oh, let's see. I don't know. Let's make it, I don't know, maybe like that. About that big. Again, we're going to dimension it out so that way. Oh, and of course, I've over-dimensioned the sketch. Oh, yeah, I don't need a dimension on that. But I do need a dimension, on from here to there. Oops. Dimension from there to there. We do need this dimension. So there we go. So it's about like that. Okay, so we got that. So now let's go ahead and finish our sketch. And again, we'll extrude. We'll do a cutting extrusion. Doesn't necessarily have to be that long. We could even do just a 1/2 inch. And then we're going to say OK, and that'll cut us our notch. Now, this is pretty rough because it's very, very square. So what we're going to do is we're going to purdy this up a little bit with doing some filleting. So 1/8 of an inch is probably fine. Is that? Yeah, that's a little too much. Let's cancel that. Let's go back into it. Fillet. I pushed the space bar to redo the last one. So let's go. Let's see if we're at 125. We go 1/8 inch. We could do. Sitting here trying to think. Let's do a 1/16 of an inch. So 0.0625. If I remember right, is 1/16. So then, yeah, that's gonna look nice. So we'll do that and see. Now watch this. We're gonna just fillet this sucker up. Fillet it everywhere. Why not? Fillet the sides. We'll even fillet this, make it look spiffy. There's that. Yep. Come on, get out of the way. Fillet the sides. We're just gonna round it all out to where it looks nice. It's like the apple feel to it. So we're gonna take Except now, since I clicked in that deal, it like screwed it all up. Ah, I hate it when that happens. When that little toolbar, that thing just is maddening to me. So let's try this again. 625. This, that. And you just got to go through and you just got to click it all because it doesn't know what you want it to do until you tell it to do it. But be careful of this tool because you click on that and it just hoses up the whole selection process. All right, there we go. Zoom in a little bit. Get that, and get all this. And you can do this in multiple fillets by just calling the command multiple times. But I like to just go ahead and do it like this. Let's see, will maybe do the inside? Yeah, maybe. Might as well. Let's do it all. So let's get the inside, make it look all rounded and nice. Get all that. Did I get that other side? I can't tell. No, I did not. So we get that. Oh, I clicked the deal. Oh well, I'm gonna hit OK, and we'll just do another fillet. There we go. Round that all out. And see, this will make everything look all nice and rounded. Okay. So there we go. See, now that looks nice. So there's all the nice rounded edges and everything. And we can leave that bottom rough. That's fine. But there, now it's all nice and rounded. So now we are ready to 3D print this. So the first thing we need to do is save it. So I'm going to save this. Go to my different things that I have. Oh, for some reason we're lagging out on me here. So we'll give it a minute to catch up. Okay, there we go. So let's try that again. Save as. And then I got to go to where I save all this stuff. Let's see. I need to go to my YouTuber stuff. Where's that at? Where's my drive? There it is. Okay. So we're going to go to our projects, to our development 3D printing battery holder. And there it is. We're going to call this the battery holder. Save. So we save our part. Now, what we need to do is we need to set this as a STL or something, a solid model file for. So we need to go to Export, CAD format, and this is where you can change the formatting. I'm going to change it to an STL, which is mainly what Cura or most or Repetier or most of the slicing softwares use. So we're going to hit Save. That should export that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to go down here to my Cura. We can get rid of that. And yes, I know that there's a new version. I'm not going to mess with it right now. So now we can load that in. If we take and go to our YouTube, our projects, and our 3D printing stuff, and there's our battery holder. So now it should come in. And this is sometimes something that I've noticed that is weird with Inventor. Everything needs to be multiplied by 10. It's just weird. It comes in all kinds of strange. So maybe I've got the scaling wrong. I don't know. But if you just multiply it by 10, it comes out just fine. So it looks like we need to rotate it 90 degrees. And there we go. So there's and it looks like it's going to take about 2 hours with my normal basic settings. But there it is. So that's basically how you create a part. And I'll probably go ahead and print this out. Maybe I'll show it off in the next video, or maybe I'll show it on a Maker Monday, what it looks like after it prints. It's going to take 2 hours. But I'm going to go ahead and print this sucker off, and we'll see how it fits on the little copter and everything. Well guys, I know it's after the video, but I just wanted to show you what it looked like when it was finished. So there it is. Now, I did have some warpage going on because I did 3D print this with ABS. I may try doing it with PLA and see if I don't get a little bit better mesh on it. I probably didn't have the bed hot enough or had enough adhesion and, you know, the ABS glue and all that, because I actually, to tell you the truth, I'm kind of running low on it. So, but anyway, but just for real quick at the end of this video, I'll show you what it looks like. So there it is. Has the holes in the bottom so we can bolt it to the top of the quad. And I ended up having to move that over. I think I said something about that in the video. I think I did. I don't know. If I didn't, I had to end up sliding this over. It wasn't over far enough. But to show you guys that it really does work, here's the battery. Here's our little box. It fits just fine. There we go. So the battery will sit in the box. I can run a Velcro strap through the sides. There's enough space. We can Velcro it down, and then if we need to, you can grab it from the sides and pull it out. Perfect. So I'll go ahead and mount that up to the quad. It's very, very light. It's not going to add hardly any weight whatsoever. Perfect. So, all right, guys, like I said before, I think I gave you all the plugs on all the stuff, where to find me and all that jazz. Links are in the description. Take care, guys. Enjoy. Keep 3D printing, modeling, building electronics, because that's what it's all about, the fun of electronics and 3D printing. We'll catch you next time.